Hello again, whiskey friends. Thanks for joining everybody for another Whiskey Wednesday. And quite a special Whiskey Wednesday today. We have two special guests in the back, executive producer Todd Ritter and also Diane Strong, executive director of the Bourbon on the Banks Festival, to talk us about the festival, planning the festival, and everything that goes into such a wonderful event. We did have the chance to go to this event last year, so we get to talk too on a firsthand experience of what we saw in Frankfort and how much we enjoyed it. So it's going to be a fun time reminiscing, learning more about the festival and everything that goes into it. So thank you for joining today, Whiskey Friends. Let's kick off the show. So as we kick this off, if you are catching this video either live or on the replay, you can find some links in the description to Bourbon on the Banks. The main event is sold out, but keep in mind there are events all weekend long in Frankfort, and we'll talk a bit about those. Now, I will say, going to the event last year, if I had to pick a date other than my wedding day or anything family related, just to put an asterisk on that so I don't get in trouble for the following statement. But if I had to pick a day where I could turn into Bill Murray and actually like relive Groundhog Day over and over and over again, I think it would be Bourbon on the Banks 2023. Because during that weekend and during this small couple of days, there were so many people to talk to, so many conversations to be had, so many different distilleries to visit, that it was actually overwhelming and you couldn't possibly do it all. So if I could relive that day over and over again and see everything from so many different perspectives, I totally would. That was just a legendary weekend for us. So in light of that, I always like starting out the live show with a question for our entire panel. So something to think about. What is your favorite memory from the 2023 Bourbon on the Banks? Kelsey and Darrell, I'm going to start with you. So let's bring in Darrell. What was your favorite memory from last year?
Oh, man. There was so many during that weekend. Like, that trip for us, like, it's going to be very, very hard to top that meetup, you know, because we coupled it with the event, obviously, then just along with everybody else that kind of gravitated in. But it was the meetup itself and just us being so tight knit within, just say like we had a nice Airbnb and just getting together with, you know, whiskey friends that I haven't met personally is always a blast for me. Just putting all these, you know, new bodies, I guess, two faces and voices, because we see them virtually all the time. But like just meeting somebody in person is a little different. But within this aspect, it's kind of like knowing somebody already. You know, we've talked so much, you know, through months and even sometimes years before meeting somebody. So it's almost like second nature. And like you kind of know the person already. But just being together with everybody, I think the event Saturday, then just coming back and kind of just having everybody, you know, congregate inside our Airbnb and just the stories, the happy birthdays, the cookies, just the hanging out, man. Like that's what it's about. Just making these memories with, you know, all these whiskey friends that we got.
Oh, definitely was a special weekend. How about you, Kelsey? What was your favorite part of the event?
A couple of things. I got to meet Chad and Sarah from Ritz Bourbon Night in person, which I've watched them for a while. But super cool people, down to earth, like exactly what you see on the screen is what they are. The other thing, I don't necessarily think it was my favorite, but it was definitely odd. It was being recognized for the first time by somebody I completely did not know. That was a little strange for me. I was with Norseman, so I mean, it could have been that they recognized him, but he's pretty recognizable. But it was still fun because they all wanted to talk to us about the channel and we didn't really like, I don't even remember seeing their screen names. I'm like, what's your screen name? And they were like, well, we just kind of lurk and watch the videos. We don't really ever get in chat. Yeah. So it was even more a little bit weird, but also really cool because you never know, who's watching or what they're, how many different people you're going to meet while you're out. So it was a lot of fun. And then, of course, our little meetup prior to Bourbon on the Banks was really special for me just because we got to laugh so much. I don't think I've laughed that much in a weekend ever. Like my stomach hurt so bad from laughing at Jeff and his smoke wagon pour. And we'll have to replay that video at some point as a memory. So.
Well, let's bring on our special guests here. So Todd and Diane, I'll bring you on, but I'm going to ask you the same question, though I know you're going to have a totally different perspective, given that you worked the event either for the Bourbon Society or front row greeting everybody at the gates, Diane, but totally curious on what your favorite moments of last year was. So let's bring on Todd and let's bring on Diane.
Hey.
Hello.
Go ahead, Diane.
Am I going first on this?
You go first. Ladies first.
All right. So my favorite thing about the event, and it's similar to you, is people recognizing me, not because I'm famous or on some YouTube channel, but because I actually got to work with them to resolve an issue or find a ticket that they couldn't find or help them find a hotel. I absolutely love hospitality. I love that when someone has a question, they email me. I'm the one who answers the questions and I'm the one who takes the phone calls. So when somebody runs into me, they're like, oh my God, I totally talked on the phone with you and you're the one that helped me. Thank you so much. And then there they are in person. I absolutely love it. And then the energy, it's like there's a hum, like this happy hum all around the whole event. And it's like, I don't know, it's like cocaine, but you don't have to do cocaine. It's pretty sweet.
It was definitely a quick 4 hours, though. It made time fly.
Yeah.
Todd, how about you?
Being a lifelong resident of Frankfort, I'd have to say it's just really cool that, last year sold out and so many of, you guys all came and so many other YouTubers and just folks like that who follow Whiskey Tube. I mean, I don't know if we could ever top the amount of people that came, from this, watching your guys' channel and Jason's and all that kind of thing. I mean, it was just awesome. It really highlighted our town. We're kind of known as the state capital and Buffalo Trace, but I think it's a lot more than that too. So I hope, you guys got to check out one of our coolest bars. I think the House of Commons, you were right above it. So, it was just awesome to, have you guys visit my town and, see it in a different kind of light rather than just swinging through Buffalo Trace Tour and getting out of Dodge. So that's what it's all about. I mean, I love my town. I've been here 55 years pretty much. So
I can definitely see the attraction. It's like, especially for the event, it's like the biggest small town feel that you could have. Right? You get all these people that you have a common denominator in, but such a really cool downtown area. That was another thing that impressed me is just the downtown area and the way that people congregated and all of the things that they have downtown that I've never been able to experience. That was a lot of fun. And the Airbnb definitely helped, being above the bar and being all right there and having that big space for everybody to be able to feel comfortable in. So that was awesome.
It's going to be a tough one to beat, guys.
Yeah, I think it highlights that, Frankfort's a good hub to come stay and, rather than stay in Louisville and go out to different distilleries, come to Frankfort, check it out and, go to Lexington, check those out, go to Louisville, go to Bardstown, Wild Turkey, Four Roses. So.
Yeah. And a lot has happened since last year as far as new businesses downtown. So it's coming right along. We've got, I don't want to start listing them because then I'll forget some of them, but we have some boutiques that have come along and some new bars and speakeasies and all kinds of
hotel
stuff. Yeah.
Not quite ready, I don't think, but it's getting close.
It's very close.
Well, I know we launched straight into it with my little icebreaker there, but Diane, why don't you give everybody an introduction here for those that don't know you or didn't watch the interview last year?
My name is Diane Strong. I'm the event director for Bourbon on the Banks Festival. I came in to play in 2020, I was involved in 2019, the very first year, but just as a small part, but took over the leadership in 2020. Of course, that first year we had the pandemic, but it didn't stop me from planning and learning and preparing. But I've been the director ever since.
Nice.
All right.
You guys do some great things too, man. A lot of money raised too, right?
Yeah, we're a nonprofit. We're led by a board of directors. The last 2 years we've given 50,000 back to our community and beneficiaries. So it's great. That's the best part about the event, is just being able to hand over those checks. And we're just so proud to be able to do that and have an impact locally. And a lot of what we give back to, which, some of it is the park and improving the experience for visitors when they come downtown too. So yeah, it's great.
Nice.
Very nice. Well, everyone in chat here, I do see Gus the Fuss with the super chat. We aren't going to do any giveaways tonight. We're going to keep it focused on our special guests. But if you do super chat tonight, I'll write your name down and get you in for next week. So just keep that in mind. But no giveaways tonight. So with the event coming up, let me make sure I got my details right. But I believe it runs from October 3rd to October 5th this year, Thursday through Saturday. Is that right, Diane?
Yes, we have auxiliary events going on Thursday and Friday. So, yes. Of course, the festival is on Saturday, followed by the after party.
All right. And thus far, the main event is the one that is sold out. We do have Twilight tickets available, and they're less expensive, but you come in at 4 p.m. The early access and special access come in at 1 o'clock. The general admission comes in at 2, and then the Twilight, you can come in at 4, and the event ends at 6. So you've got 2 hours, which, you can do a lot in 2 hours. And those tickets are selling pretty quickly. We may or may not open up a few more of those. It's all based on whether we feel like it's okay, because by 4 o'clock, you have people who came in at 1 o'clock who are leaving. Yeah. So it does thin out a little bit. And as long as we feel like we're not making it too crowded, we'll release a couple more of those tickets. But like I've said before, we're not going to increase the number of tickets in the name of money, because it changes the experience and it changes the integrity of the event. And that's kind of what we're known for. So no long lines and lots of interactions with distillers and the brand reps that are there. And, it's a different experience, and we pride ourselves on that.
I think that was one of the coolest things, was the vendors were not just whiskey people either. I mean, I saw cigar vendors, I saw some boutique vendors as well. And the food trucks, my gosh, there were food everywhere. Oh my gosh, so good. But that was a really cool thing. We got to meet some vendors that we know now are kind of more mainstream, but back then there's not a lot of people. For instance, Dark Arts wasn't really known a year and a half ago like it is right now in the bourbon world. And there's some vendors that are going to be there that I feel like are going to be like that again this year, which was really fun, because you're on the forefront of meeting and getting to hang out and taste these whiskeys before a lot of other people even know about the particular brands. So I wanted to call that out, because it was a really, really cool experience to do that, meet those people, taste the whiskey, and hang out with good friends. Like you said, it really wasn't, I loved it because it wasn't overcrowded. It was full, but it wasn't overcrowded. Everything had a flow to it. And you could just kind of wander around from place to place. So it was really, really well laid out, I think, as far as how you guys had it set up last year. And I know that it's going to be even better this year because of what you learned last year. So
always trying to improve, for sure.
Yeah, always progressing.
More porta potties.
Yep. I was just going to say that. When you say what is the best memory, that's the worst memory. Is us realizing that we did not have enough porta potties. And I send out my surveys at the end of the year, and that like at all they were so wonderful. People were so positive, but they're like, yeah, you might use a couple more porta potties. I mean, some of them were nice, and some of them were like, what were you thinking? There was not enough bathrooms, so it was really embarrassing. I don't know exactly how it happened, because like those of us who make those decisions, we are all very well, I don't know, versed in how to figure that stuff out. Emergency management, the city who does events. It's like we missed it. We failed on that, and I apologize to everyone. This year we doubled them up, so we should be good.
Awesome.
I think you kept me safe every now and then. A little 10 minutes in line for a timeout wasn't entirely a bad thing.
I'm wearing Depends to this year's, so just in case.
That was one bit of advice that you did give us last year, Diane, was please, please, please do not try to play around the world at this event.
No,
and I don't think I quite understood the scope until I was in the middle of it, and I couldn't reach the end of it as we just kept walking and walking and walking down all the different vendors. How many different tents do you typically have, or how many tents do you have this year?
So we advertise 60 plus but we're up to, I believe, 84 right now.
Okay.
So it's more than we've ever had, and space is a premium. I'm actually having to turn people away, but we're limited by space, and expansion on that specific area does not work well. So it's we do have it organized a little bit different. So we've got room for a couple more tents, but yeah, there's more than ever. And of course, there's always there'll be the last minute back out. So I'm not going to advertise 84, but that's what I'm at right now.
Wow.
So.
What was it last year?
I think
70-ish.
Yeah, the final numbers were mid 70s last year.
Yeah.
Because it was a good amount. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. We've got a couple breweries. We've got some other spirits that are there, but the vast majority are bourbon and whiskeys, obviously. I don't like to sell it as like a wine event or a bourbon event, just because it's very limited. But we've got a little bit of other things for sure.
Nice.
Definitely keep up the water. That was so great to walk around and have water everywhere you went, stations around. And I think that helps people stay safe and not, overdo it, stay hydrated. And it's at a great time of the year too. I mean, October down there was perfect weather. It's really beautiful right there by the
fingers crossed.
Yeah. It was just a really, really nice event in regards to scenery, but also where you're at. And then, like you said, keeping people safe and enjoying themselves, but also not, like you said, trying to go around the world with all the whiskey that's going to be there for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah, we have a lot of sponsors or vendors that will be there, and they know to provide water. It'll bring people to your tent, but also like Wildcat Moving, who partners with us to move all of our stuff. They have a huge I don't know if you saw him, but he's a huge statue of a wildcat. And, they offer a ton of water, which is really nice, and limestone water. We've got a lot of great partners out there, but that's a lesson that I learned from another event who had failed to provide enough water. And so when I saw what happened there, I'm so glad I didn't have to learn that lesson, because it's one of those things that can happen. It's just like the damn porta potties.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like there's a little bit of a correlation here, right? You up the water supply.
Oh, that explains it.
And then you got to bring up the porta potty supply.
Well, we do have we're wondering, there's a what is it, Oktoberfest thing that's going on down the street at the same time. And we're wondering if a few people didn't hit that first too. Cause beer makes you pee more. Let's be honest. So it's okay. It's all good. We got it taken care of this year.
Hello.
Yeah,
hey, buddy.
So how long does you and the team that are working on this event, like how many months in advance are you plotting this? I mean, is it pretty much right when this one ends, you go on to the next year, or you're already plotting next year? How much time goes into each event?
So right away after the event, it's all about getting together and talking through it. Lessons learned, what worked, what didn't, to write it down right as soon as you possibly can. Even waiting a couple of weeks, you forget things. So we have meetings with the city. I have meetings with volunteers and with, my committees. And we just try to get as much feedback as possible. Even if we can't meet in person, we're taking notes. And that's when my surveys go out, and I start studying the surveys, and I want that to go out quickly too, because attendees will forget. And the distilleries, I send it to the distilleries too, and my volunteers, and try to get as much feedback. And then everybody who helps with Bourbon on the Banks and is involved, like they're tired and they don't want to talk about it after a while. But I'm fueled and I'm ready for the next year. So I'm having to. It's hard for me to tone it down because I see so much planning taking place right away. But it's from the very end. So much of the planning takes place in those first months. So, but I work on it year round. To answer your question, it is a year round thing. There are some ebbs and flows. I've learned that no one works between Thanksgiving and Christmas. And Derby, there's no talking to a distillery anytime near Derby. I don't know what they're doing, but they're doing something for Derby. And so, it's just, I know when I can plan to take some days off or go on a vacation because of it. But now that I've done it for 5 years, so yeah.
Well, then jumping in here, walking us through the weekend, you got October 3rd, 4th, and 5th. So I know there's a couple different events on each day. It looks like the main event on October 3rd is the kickoff at Whiskey Thief. Is that correct?
Yes. Well, the first event on the 3rd is actually a boat tour on the Bourbon Belle, and that's with Heather Wibbles. She's a mixologist, an award-winning mixologist. She's going to. There's only 30 tickets for that. I think we've got 7 left. It's about an hour and a half boat ride, and she's going to walk you through making 3 different cocktails with O.H. Ingram River Aged whiskey, which is very fitting if you ask me. And there'll be just a small little some bread, pretzels to kind of offset some of that alcohol, but there's not a lot of food on the event. But like I said, 3 full cocktails. You'll go home with a tumbler it's like a souvenir tumbler. You'll go home with her book, and it's going to be a really nice event. I did a similar event last year with Chef Wita Michael, where she went out with a group of people, and it's a really neat. You're all along the Kentucky River where all the history takes place, and it's a 49 passenger boat. It's a double decker. And I strongly encourage anybody, even if you don't go on that tour, they do tours all summer and into the fall, and they'll have tours going on if people want to go and sign up for those. I don't know if they have any left, but certainly check out the Bourbon Belle. And then, the kickoff at Whiskey Thief, that's from 6 until 9, I believe. And, they're going to have the free tours. They'll have a fire band. They've got lots of games out there. It's a beautiful setting on a farm. I don't know if you've been to Whiskey Thief, but they're phenomenal. It's actually what I'm drinking right now. They're a sponsor of our Friday VIP as well. Oh my gosh, look, we're twinsies.
Hey, Mayday Rye. There we go.
I actually bought this because you brought this for us to sample at the Bourbon Society, and I liked it so much. So I cracked it.
I have that effect on people. I just make them buy stuff.
So Todd's a bad influence on you too, Diane.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah. Well, I would have been sampling from Limestone Farms, but he's got that under lock and key, as he should, and I should have asked in advance, but it's at the Bourbon Society, and he was nice enough to send it out to you guys. But our title sponsor this year is Limestone Farms. So I'm glad you guys have that in your glass. But yeah, so the kickoff that'll be a blast. They did it last year, and hopefully it'll be a good time this year as well. Thursday, let's see here. I guess Friday is the next thing.
Mm-hmm.
New this year, we have got I've got a tasting. It's a bourbon food pairing with Peggy No Stevens, which I hope everybody knows who Peggy is. She's phenomenal. Her list of credentials go on, and she's so inspirational to me, and I know so many other people. But she is going to be teaching that bourbon pairing class, and she will be accompanied by John Medley from Buffalo Trace, and they are providing the expressions. He's a research and development director. Originally, we had Freddie. He was going to be joining her, and I was so thrilled about it. But he got double booked, so he will be at the Friday VIP that evening. But this should still be pretty nice. Limestone or Lime Water is going to be putting together the appetizers that you're pairing your drinks with. We don't know what expressions Buffalo Trace is sending for us. So surprise, surprise. Hopefully it'll be something fancy. And so yeah, that's at 1:00. So some appetizers and some bourbon drinks at 1:00. That's about an hour and a half long. That's at the History Center. And then you come back at 5:00 for the Friday VIP reception and bourbon auction. This year we have 2 barrel pick experiences up for auction. The first one is from Whiskey Thief, and the second one is Four Roses.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, the DFI will get the proceeds from the Four Roses barrel pick, and then Whiskey Thief, that's our sponsorship for that event. So, which is great. Go ahead.
Do you guys want me to be your proxy on that? I'm sure it'll go cheap.
Mm-hmm. We pull together with our powers combined.
There you go.
We actually did that. Me and Jeff did that tasting with Peggy No last year, Diane, and that was pretty fun. She brought her own expressions, and it was a good time. We were in Lexington, I believe, right, Jeff?
It was for a different event, but we got to spend some intimate time with Peggy, and she gave during that tasting, she gave me some sensory tips that I've used to explore blind flights and explore whiskey just a little differently. So it's always a great time.
Helped Jeff do proof. You know, he can actually tell what proof a whiskey is now. He's not 30 points off anymore.
Learning from her and all her tricks, and even how she uses her breath to expel the alcohol, to taste the flavors, all of those different things. If you get to meet her and talk to her about those, it just makes the whiskey experience so much more enjoyable. On top of, doing this for years, you always learn new tricks from her.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, she knows more about whiskey than we'll ever, forget, or she'll forget more than we know. Let me say that correctly.
Yeah, we're thrilled to have her, and we're thrilled to have Buffalo Trace involved with that event. It's kind of the first time they always get involved with the VIP. They donate some amazing bottles to that. We don't know what we're getting this year. It's actually DFI that's getting the bottles from them. DFI, Downtown Frankfort Inc., they're actually dedicated to basically the downtown experience between the merchants, the visitors, the whole 9 yards. They create a lot of events in the downtown area. And so we team up with them, and they get the proceeds from the auction, except for the Whiskey Thief barrel experience. And then they put on a silent auction too, which is pretty nice. And then we host the reception, and that's got lots of food, and it's a great event. That's from 5 until 8:00. It gives you the capacity of that one is about 300. So it's a lot more intimate. We have a lot of tastings that will be in the garden there. It's gorgeous there. And then the auction will be inside. It's kind of it's an opportunity to get a little dressed up and go rub elbows with some people in the industry. And Chad and Sarah are going to be at that event. They've been to it before, and they're going to be back. They're going to be making some drinks for the attendees.
Nice.
Doing some hands-on things with them. So it'll be a lot of fun. And then Friday also, if you're bringing your family to the event, or if you're just in the area, the Bourbon Street on Broadway is a free family-friendly event. It's a lot of fun if you're an adult and you don't have kids. But if you have kids, there's a ton of stuff for them to do, and it's all free. You don't have to spend a dime there if you don't want to. If you want to spend some money, we do have food and stuff. We've got the downtown merchants, but we have Cincinnati Circus that we hire. Obviously, out of Cincinnati, they do a huge stunt performance and lots of aerial acts and things like that. We have fire acts. We've got belly dancers and human statues and all kinds of stuff. It's just, I like to call it eye candy. Somebody once said Frankfort got weird for one night, and we kind of like it. And it's true. It's like, it's not like anything else we have. And it's so much fun. This year, we're actually going to incorporate a costume contest because
fun.
My goal is for people to feel like they don't belong if they're not wearing a costume. Like, I want everybody to show up in whatever they want to wear. Like, I don't care if you're a Furby or if you just want to like wear some rabbit ears. I don't care. Like, just, or bling it up, dress up like a witch, whatever you want to do. But it's like anything goes. I want everybody to feel like that just is comfortable. So we're going to try out the costume contest and see if that'll do it. So there'll be some cash prizes for that.
I am in total support of that. If you do it again next year, I might show up in a Macho Man outfit.
Yeah. Don't tease Jeffrey with a good time there. I mean, he loves dressing up more than anybody I've ever met. So.
See, everybody does. That's the thing. And now you have a reason to, and there could be some money involved. So, and it'll be decent.
He does pull off a nice Macho Man.
What are you wearing, Todd?
I don't know yet.
A Chippendale costume?
Jeffrey, how big is that Macho Man costume? Can I borrow it?
I have a very soiled Macho Man outfit. You can
I don't even want to know.
We'll see how well I place.
Maybe
you can go for the title next year.
Jeez.
Yeah. So Friday's a big day.
I don't have as much hair as you. I'd probably look more like Hulk Hogan, though. I think it's wispy.
What were you saying, Diane?
You could get a Fu Manchu. I could see you go with that Hulk Hogan mustache.
Well, I was going to mention that Friday's a big day, and that I should also mention that Express Credit Union is the sponsor for that event. They have been since the beginning, so they're awesome. And then I was also thinking about the whole comment that I made about being on cocaine, and just like full disclosure, I don't do cocaine. I've not done cocaine, so I don't know. I've not done crack, but I would also be tempted to say it's like being on crack, but you don't have to do crack. Sometimes I say stuff. I apologize.
Oh, goodness.
No worries at all. I don't think anybody was thinking the latter.
I don't know. You never know.
No, it's funny.
Yeah. So Saturday is the big day. Obviously, it's, and then
there's a Four Roses pub crawl Friday night too, right?
Thank you, Todd. See, this is why I wanted you here. Somebody's got to keep me on my toes. We do have the Four Roses pub stroll. Actually, emergency management doesn't like you to say pub crawl. They want you to say stroll because it sounds a lot more tame. And so, participating restaurants and bars, they're gonna make their own special cocktail, and it's going to be made with Four Roses bourbon. And people can go, and they're actually going to have 3 days to do it this time. You can do it Thursday, Friday, or Saturday. And I think we're going to have maybe like a passport, so the people who actually get all of the drinks in those 3 days might have a chance to win something. Regardless, I know for a fact that, if you go in, you take a selfie inside the bar with your drink, whether it's just one or all of them, you get a chance to win tickets to next year's event. So,
very cool. Great idea.
Yeah, you got to remember to tag us though, so we can find the picture. And it's good. And we have the mixed district in downtown Frankfort here, which allows for people to go in and out of different restaurants and bars with your drink and walk around.
Oh, nice.
Of course, for Bourbon Street on Broadway, that's a private event, so you don't have to. You're allowed to have drinks out in that event anyway. But for any time, I can't remember what the rules are on it, Todd, but I think it's the majority of evenings. From 4 till whatever, you can walk around with your drinks as long as they're in the mixed district cup.
It's pretty lax. I mean, as long as you don't make a fool of yourself, you should be fine.
Yeah, just don't be an ass.
Be responsible and respectful. I'm sure you'll be fine.
Now,
you tell me this after I'm going to be walking around in a Macho Man outfit. And
right. Now, Diane, was the contest they just had for the drink called the Frankfort drink, is that going to be tied into Bourbon on the Banks? Or
So the goal is to have that so at the Friday VIP reception and bourbon auction, we have a cash bar, but you get a free drink with your ticket. And so the cash bar's got some beers and wine. It actually doesn't have bourbon because there's so much bourbon sampling going on, but there is going to be a mixed cocktail, and that will be the Frankfort. So there'll be a mixed batch cocktail that they can have.
Yeah, we just had a contest. I guess how many bars participated?
I am not sure. I was on that committee, but I think it was like at least, I think there was 11. There was a lot. Yeah, there was 11. I just talked to Candy today. She was one of the judges. And she gave me the rundown.
And your buddy David Sandlin there at House of Commons, he's the one. He won. Master mixologist. So
I've got the recipe.
Yeah, but I haven't tried it, so I'm looking forward to trying that. I know it had some sort of blackberry thing going on.
That was
right?
at the Hauser. No, that was the Hauser that had that one.
Okay.
Yeah, which is another new bar downtown with a speakeasy. Yeah, the Hawk one, I guess that which stands for House of Commons. I think that was a combination of what was it? Like the two, I don't know exactly, but it did a good job of representing Frankfort in general and having a good taste profile. There was a whole bunch of different things that it needed to do. So checked all the boxes. And now it's forever now going to be called the Frankfort, and that's going to be our drink.
Very cool.
The mayor's going to designate it, I think, or something fancy. So
nice.
Pretty cool.
Well, Todd, I know that you guys had talked about Limestone being a sponsor. Do you want to talk a little bit about some of the whiskeys that you gave us to try, and also maybe anything else that you want to say about who Limestone is, all the background? Because I know until you kind of gave us these, I really wasn't as familiar with what they do and all of that. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure. So Limestone Farms is based in Georgetown, Kentucky, which is about probably about a 15, 20 minute drive from Frankfort. And so right now they are sourcing, and they're very open about it. They source from New Riff and they source from Heaven Hill, and they have three different releases out. And there's a private stock, the small batch, and it's been a while since I've seen those.
Select batch.
Select batch.
Yep.
So I'm pretty sure the one you guys were really crazy about was the
private stock.
Private Select, which is it's aged 9 years age stated. So that's definitely a Heaven Hill product. Now they are a little high end, I think, and you might have to help me on this. I think the Select batch runs about 120. The small batch maybe about 100, and then I think that private 175-ish.
170, 180. Yeah, I think it's right around there.
Right around there. And then they just came out with a new release too. I think it's called the Bloodline, if I've got it right.
Yeah, I did see that, but they've not shared any of that with us yet.
I've not tried that one yet. Yep.
But they've got a lot of plans in place. They've got a large property that we actually, myself, Diane, and a couple other folks got to visit, and the plans are to have a hotel there on that spot. Restaurant, and just kind of make it an all-day experience, I think, is their goal. But yeah, super nice guys. I haven't been out there since then, though. Sadly, I don't know if if they've broken ground or if anything's going on. But
I drove by about a month ago, and they have a lot going on, but it's hard to tell where they're at. I'm sure they experienced some delays because I believe the visitor center was supposed to be open by now. But I mean, building plans never go as they're supposed to. So, but hopefully the visitor center will be open by Bourbon on the Banks, and they'll be moving right along. But they have lots of big aspirations, and I think it's a great idea. I mean, to make it a destination kind of thing, and it's right off the interstate. It's very convenient. It's a great location. It's part of a family farm that's been a part of them for generations, and so.
And I think their plan is to have multiple pot stills, and I mean, we saw the plans. It's
crazy. Yes.
They're going big. It's pretty impressive. I mean, I know Bourbon's kind of steadying out now. Everybody's the COVID days are over where we didn't have anything to spend anything on except ordering bourbon and such. So, but they've got some really great brands, and I hope if anybody is coming, I definitely think they should go check their stuff out. It's really good.
They will be sampling it. They'll be sampling at Bourbon on the Banks Festival. But their high-end stuff, they're actually going to have in the special access tent. So anybody going into that will have a chance to try some of the most expensive stuff that they have.
Nice.
Very nice.
Which, as you know, it's really good stuff.
Yeah, that private, which we were talking about earlier, private stock or private select stock.
Private stock. Yep.
It's fantastic. Kelsey pointed it out. I love Heaven Hill. And honestly, I probably wouldn't have thought Heaven Hill immediately. I just knew it was really good, whatever it was.
I agree
but that just plays into it. It's a lower proof. It's not like Elijah Craig barrel proof. It actually tastes to me just older. It doesn't taste like a 9-year. It tastes older to me. But just more refined and balanced. It was just really good. I like everything.
Yeah, it was very well balanced and a very complete profile. There wasn't anything that was, sticking out at one point or another. It was very complete profile on that one. It was 113.6 was the proof on that one he's talking about.
Yeah, they were all pretty close. In fact, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I believe that's their wheated bourbon. It's a wheated bourbon they've got. Yeah. So be interested to try that up against a larceny.
I was going to say that's even a little bit more impressive, to be honest with you, knowing that it was a wheated bourbon.
That is interesting. Huh.
That would honestly make a bit more sense to me, though, because the private stock is a bit soft in areas. So as you guys were trying to describe it there, I was like, maybe it was proofed down and that's why I'm tasting it that way. But that's interesting.
If it was, then I think that entry barrel proof might have been pretty low because it doesn't taste like it was proofed down. There's so much flavor still, and just the oak, it's very well put together.
Agreed.
I told you guys as soon as I sipped it, I was messaging in the chat that how much I like.
Darrell's got multiple kids.
They're asking just
only six.
Random questions right now, midway through. But yeah, no, really, really good stuff, man. So yeah, I can't really talk that one up too much.
We're thrilled to have them as a sponsor. I mean, we've had a Community Trust Bank in the past, which they've been wonderful. But when that title sponsorship opened up, and to be able to give it to a distillery, it's fun, because now we get to sample their product and we get to watch them grow and everything and learn about it, and it's been pretty fun. I'm enjoying having them, and hopefully they'll continue to sponsor us in the future.
Tell us more about the after party, because I know that we didn't necessarily get to do that last year. So tell everybody kind of what that is and what to expect.
So the after party, the Goodfoot after party is actually this year, we're kind of changing things up a little bit. We've played around with the location of it. It used to be down the street a ways, but anybody going home, they could either go, 4 blocks over here, or they could go to their car or to their hotel. And so we wanted to have it closer. Last year we put it next, like right, kind of close, but still people like exiting would miss it if they didn't know that the party was down the way. So now they're going to go right past it on the way out. Like you're going to literally walk through the after party in the parking lot of the farmers market parking lot, which is where our ticketing is going to take place this year. That's another thing we've kind of changed up, but the Poor Decisions are playing on the city stage, which is a really amazing stage, and it'll be in that parking lot. You'll be able to hear it all downtown, and it's free. There'll be food, drinks, everything available there. So we're hoping people stick around for it. It's going to start at 5 and go until 9. So there is some overlap there for people who are leaving a little bit early.
Awesome.
So, yeah. It'll be a good time.
And you said farmers market, Diane? Like, I don't know if I've seen that when we were out there.
So where you guys came in and gave your tickets,
Yeah.
that area, like you kind of up on the hill,
Yeah.
that area to the right, that lower part.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
It's like
There's
a
like
parking
a-
lot. Yeah.
There's like
And
an
a huge
odd,
pavilion.
pavilion that covers that part of that area. And that's, we have a very busy farmers market on Saturdays. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, we do. And it's kind of a dance trying to get our ticketing in there as they're all leaving with all their fresh veggies. So, but yeah, that's another thing that we've improved on. Hopefully this year is smoothing out ticketing a little bit more. So instead of people kind of congregating in that area on the road leading up to the pavilion, everything will take place inside that fenced parking lot. People will line up and get their wristbands. So, and then they'll just kind of hang out and listen to music until it's time for their time allotment to go inside. And so there's not going to be any scanning and then going in and scanning and going in. Everything, all the scanning and everything takes place earlier, in advance. And then they can relax a minute before they line up to head in. So fingers crossed that works really good.
I
Remind
thought
me, were
last
you
year
guys
worked
able
fine
to-
too, honestly.
Good. I mean, it's a little bit, it can get hectic sometimes because, the crowd it's like, there's a lot of just kind of tension sometimes. And there's people who are confused or not falling into line. And we're just trying to clarify it and relax it. We want it to be kind of like a tailgating party before you go in. It's just less stress for everybody.
Yeah.
Now, were you able to get 2 entrances or just going with the one still?
We still have the one entrance.
Okay.
Now we do have a tour bus that is going to have, I think, 55 people on it. They may be coming to a different entrance separately, but the main entrance is going to be there at the farmers market.
Okay.
All right, so you got to get on like the tour bus's bumper with a skateboard, Michael J. Fox style, and you like
Michael
sneak
J. Fox,
in.
yeah.
Right
Martin
the
Luther.
way through.
I should mention, there is a tour company out of Louisville. They're called Wild Thoughts, and they actually have some tour packages available still. I'm not sure how many tickets they have, but you actually get a ride from Louisville to the event, get in the event. So those are tickets that are still out there. I don't have the link, but if you go, they're on Instagram and stuff, reach out to them. I think they've got general admission tickets, but yeah, there's some of those left. If you're in Louisville and you want to ride, they do a great job. I mean, it's a nice, nice little tour group, and they've been part of our event for 3 years now. So.
Nice little backdoor way to get in.
Yeah. Well, you could just fly into Louisville and start there if you want. I don't know. Whatever works.
Well, out of everything that you got going on this year, what are you most excited about as you walked us through all those different events?
Oh, geez. That's a tough thing. I mean, I'm just excited to see everything fall into place, and I don't know. it's like trying to choose your favorite kid, you know. I have my favorite son and I have my favorite daughter. So I have my favorite tasting event and my favorite pairing events and the favorite boat events. And, I'm excited about all of it. And just very thankful that we've got the support of the city and such a great group of volunteers and a board that supports us, everything that my crazy ideas. And we're just, it's fun to see it all fall into place, and just we're thankful. It's all good.
Now,
I'm not picking favorites.
Do you have your vacation plan for afterwards again, like you did last year?
Well, that was Danny's 50th birthday.
Okay.
So
nothing for 51?
I'm turning 50 this year. So that's February though. So I forgot about that. I need to start planning. You're right. Thank you for reminding me.
My pleasure.
Yeah, it's hard to go on vacation after the event. Like I just feel like there's too much to wrap up. It's very stressful, but it's good.
Well, with the debrief and everything, as you described, there's kind of this month halo, it sounds like, around the event to make sure all ducks are in a row. We learn what we can improve on the next wave and bring that into the next year's planning.
Right. So you guys are not coming back this year.
You can thank Jeffrey for this. You should
no.
Give him some
I ruined everything, Diane. We all hugged each other last year, and we said we made a blood oath, like we are coming back every year hereafter. And then one of my best friends was like, "Hey, I'm getting married, and this is the weekend, and you're the best man." And I was like, "Well, I was going to skip it until the last part. I was going to skip the wedding and just go to Bourbon on the Banks. But he told me I was the best man.
Telling the full story, Diane.
I really got to go.
Friend bribed him with a WWE belt and said,
that's true.
"I will give you this if you show up for the wedding." And that's why we got the shaft this year.
Gotcha. Well, that's too bad.
I mean, it's a nice belt.
Is it real?
It's pretty real. It's a replica.
It's real to Jeff.
It's a real
make
replica.
That part of your costume, man.
Wait, are you referring to the belt or wrestling in general? I'm just asking.
I could just wear it the rest of the night if we want to get. But yeah.
So yes, barring any weddings next year, they are coming next year.
We are coming next year.
We are coming next year. So can we bank on the first weekend in October?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right.
And we got to get the same room
every year.
Because they didn't even make it down to the Frankfort Bourbon Society building either. They were literally like 2 blocks, or a block and a bridge away.
Were we that close?
As I said on the kickoff, Todd, if I could have a Bill Murray Groundhog Day, it would be that day, because there was too much to possibly do in the time allotted. It was just crazy looking back on it.
You guys literally had a whirlwind week, though.
Oh God.
Oh, absolutely.
So much fun now.
But those 2 days, I think the one moment that sticks out with me, and Diane described it a little bit, it was the Bourbon Street Festival. And I really wanted to go down there, and timing logistics just didn't work. But there was someone twirling like a flaming baton. And I was like, I need to be down there. So when I get the chance to relive these moments, hopefully the Cincinnati Circus, I think is what you said, it's still there, and all those type of things. Because yes, if we get more time, we get a chance to redo it again. It's going to be a chance to, go throughout Frankfort. And as Diane was saying, there's all these new places now too. So it sounds like there's even more places to explore, just to make the Groundhog Day even harder and not spend all my time at House of Commons.
Definitely come early and stay late. There's so many distilleries you can tour, within 15-20 minutes from us. And we've got so many history tours, and the History Museum and the City Museum, the State Capitol. You can tour the State Capitol. It's gorgeous. And there's a lot to see. There's a lot to do in Frankfort and surrounding. So much history. The history is just there. The history walking tour will impress you. pretty much every house downtown is owned by somebody from the bourbon industry at some point. It's very cool.
I like the little town too. It's almost like vintage. Like where we stayed, like you look out the windows, and where I'm from, it's nothing like that outside my windows. It looked like an old town. I don't know how old the buildings were, like where we were by like House of Commons, but it's just so different than what's over here. Which it's like just literally like a cute little place, man. Like where we were in that area. Really, really liked it.
And there's the link for bourbononthebanks.org that you guys can go check out and see more about what Diane is talking about. Great time for us last year. It's going to be even better this year, I know. So make sure you guys check out that. Diane, is there anything else that you wanted to mention before we wrap things up here?
Did I forget anything, Todd? Anything you can think of?
I think you covered it pretty good.
Awesome.
All right. Yeah. Well, I appreciate you guys having us, and for the bourbononthebanks@gmail.com, you can reach me if you've got questions or anything like that. I mean, we're happy to help and make your experience wonderful when you come to Frankfort. The goal is to make sure you guys love it so much that you come back, and we have people who have been coming to Bourbon on the Bank since the very beginning, and there's good reason for it. We are very proud of that. So
absolutely, yeah.
No, we definitely would have made a habit of it if that wedding didn't happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Dang it, Jeffrey.
So much blame and shade going my way. I see how it is.
I gotta throw it at somebody.
Redemption next year, we will be back, Diane.
No,
yes,
for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that trip was just
All right.
it was perfect. Best trip I've been on, in all honesty. So can't wait.
Well, Diane, Todd, thank you so much for joining us tonight and describing the experience of planning this event and everything that goes into it. I think it's completely fascinating to hear some of the behind the scenes and going to the event and seeing everything play out in motion. You just know all of those different logistics are all planned out. I think it worked beautifully last year. Whatever we said about the porta potty thing, I didn't have a problem with that at all. But every year is a chance for improvement as well. So thank you so much for coming on tonight. And looking forward to hearing stories from people that I do know will be there this year. And then we'll join you again next year.
Sounds good.
Sounds great. Thanks for having us.
Yep.
It's our pleasure.
Well, everybody in chat, thank you for joining us tonight too. Go head over to Jason's and we'll catch you on the next Whiskey Wednesday. Goodbye, everybody.
Yeah.
Cheers, everybody.
Jeff, just be friends with me. But you have these whiskey friends, and you say hello again. Oh, Jeffrey, you should just be friends with me. But you have these whiskey friends, and you say hello again. Oh, Jeffrey, you should just be friends with me. But you have these whiskey friends, and you